Ian is going to explain about a little-known vitamin that is critical to achieving his goals. Help me to welcome Ian Black. K2 is more than a mountain.
Oh, yeah.
A well-thought-of cardiologist died recently, and at the funeral, the coffin was wheeled in front of this big heart made of flowers, beautiful flowers. So when the pastor finished his sermon and the eulogy, and after everybody had said goodbye, the heart opened. The coffin rolled in, and then the heart closed. And one of the mourners started to laugh. And the guy next to him says, "What are you laughing about?" "Well," he said, "I was just thinking about my own funeral." The guy says, "What's funny about that?" He says, "Well, I'm a gynecologist." Fellow communicators. Who has heard of K2?
Oh.
A mountain, perhaps?
Yep.
Who has heard of vitamin K2? A solution, perhaps. Vitamin K2, or monaquinone, as it is commonly known as, is one of the most important vitamins around that we know little about. When there isn't enough K2 in your body, the body doesn't know how to actually handle calcium. The calcium that goes into your body. We take calcium supplements, there's calcium in milk, and there's all kinds of places. And this is a vitamin that was discovered in the 1930s. Vitamin K1 and K2 were discovered. And mistakenly, they thought that they were both blood clotting vitamins. So K2 was kind of dismissed. And then it took quite a while, many generations, when they did some more research, they realized, wait a second, this is not the same as K1. It actually doesn't come from leafy green vegetables. It doesn't it is not recycled in the body like vitamin K1. It has a very specific function. And what it does is it actually takes the vitamin K2 and puts it into the bones and the brain and the elements of the body that need it to maintain the calcium levels. This is something that we don't even think about. And one of the problems is that you know that I'm really interested in heart health. That's something that I've had an issue with for quite a while now. And of course, we've been heavily programmed to think that the problem with heart health is cholesterol. I mean, I'm on a cholesterol lowering medication because my doctor says I should do that. But in reality, people who have low cholesterol or medium cholesterol, or high cholesterol, 50% of those people can have a heart attack. So how is that so? And the reason that probably it's happening is because they are getting hardening of the arteries. Now, hardening of the arteries is a calcium-laden arterial plaque that builds up on the walls of the arteries here, and they block it off. Now, if you have this problem happen in your heart, you will have a heart attack. If it happens in your brain, you'll have a stroke. And of course, either one of those circumstances can be they can be fatal. Now, I was lucky because I discovered that I had this condition and I was able to put some stents in there. But stents are only dealing with opening that issue up. That doesn't deal with the causation. Well, now, vitamin K2 is actually, it has in it, it activates a particular protein called MGP, matrix GLA protein. I don't have to remember that. But what that protein does is that protein actually scours the soft tissue of your body and removes the calcium. This was what I was interested in. Because obviously if I've got some stents in my heart, the stents in my heart are propping it up, but they're not dealing with the original issue. I want to deal with the other issue because there are other places in my body where I have calcium buildup. And I want to be able to live a long time. And so I want to reduce the amount of calcification in my soft tissues. Now, the scarcity of vitamin 2 in diet, where do we get it? Well, you can get it if you eat cheeses like brie and Gouda. There are increased levels of vitamin K2. It's in our diet, but the industrialization of our food system has really lowered the ability for us to get it. In fact, a 2007 study showed that most adults do not have an adequate amount of vitamin K in their system. And because it was misunderstood, there's no real way to do it. Now, the Japanese have always been known for having very good healthy hearts. And one of the secrets that the Japanese have is they don't eat brie, obviously, and they don't eat Gouda. But they eat the natto bean. Now, the natto bean is a particular bean that they make that is not something we necessarily would eat because we don't have access to it. But they have isolated the monoquinone out of natto beans, something called MK7. I don't know if you remember that. And they've isolated that in vitamins that you can buy at the store. And the vitamins are not very expensive. And Dr. Stevenson, who is a cardiologist, says that if you take 300 milligrams of K2 that has got MK7 in it, you can actually clear out your vitamins. Clear out your calcium. You clear out the calcium that is building up in your arteries over a period of time. It took a while to build. It'll take a while to take up, but at least there's a process in which you can do it. So don't linger. For 33 cents a day, you're worth it. And I recommend that everybody go out and add that to their vitamin regime if they're interested in reducing calcium buildup in their heart.
All right.